Hello, welcome back to the channel where we develop software for self-driving cars. And we make it available to everyone with a computer because we use Carla driving simulator. Here we break the daunting task of autonomous driving into smaller manageable blocks, so you could get into it at your own speed. And you can have some fun by staging things in the simulator like this little trick. Today we're talking about navigation and waypoints and lanes. It's coming on the back of us trying to do some reinforcement learning where we were trying to kind of position ourselves for the future to make the car driving closer to the center of the lane, going through intersections correctly, and all that kind of jazz. So I was exploring at meantime how to do this, and I found a couple of ways that I wanted to show you. Alright, so I've got the Jupyter notebook set up. This is the file here. I've got in my repository, I've got RL1 folder or subfolder, and this file is called workings lane info.ipython notebook. And I'm using version 15 of, or 9.15 I should say, of Carla. So I'm basically using the same Python configuration that I'm using for all the reinforcement learning, just with version 9.15 of Carla. And I'm running Carla here on our left, version 9.15. So what I was trying to do here is to show you a couple of ways, and the first option that we're trying to do is to use a couple of things from Carla. Like, for example, the rest of the code here is pretty much what you've seen in my previous tutorials, just how to get everything started. This is how to incorporate existing like global route planner, because the first option will require it. Then make all the connections, get the spectator. Spectator again is the view in the simulator that you can see here. So if we move here, we move the spectator. And then a couple of setups for the route planner. And the next thing we're doing is we're exploring this thing called roads, because we've created a couple of variables here, which is one, we're using this getMap method from the world object, or our simulator connection essentially. And we also get topology method from the town map. It's like a subset of the whole map, right? And we essentially assign it to the variable called road. So the first option will be showing how to loop through all the roads and show you what they are, what they're like. So I kick this guy off, and this is where you can see the animated view of the sections of the road that make up this variable of road. So the roads variable is a list of all of these sections, and you can see now I'm just animating through some of these sections, and it kind of gives you an idea of what they are. All right, where I'm trying to get with all of this is I'm trying to get all the waypoints that are available in this town that we've got right now. And of course it will apply to all towns that we can load. So the idea here that we're exploring is to make a car, or to control the car and punish or reward it for being closer to where it should be, or how it goes through intersections. All of this is based on waypoints. So, and what I mean by here, imagine this road, and if we go straight in the right lane, for example, through this intersection, so what we expect in the car to do is imagine the line that we need to follow, and that line is made up essentially from the waypoints that we're trying to collect. So, and at any point in time, we can measure the distance between the car actual location and that, or any waypoint. And usually we just take the closest and see how close we are to it. So rather than tracking waypoints and see where you are, it's like it creates a lot of additional complexity in the code by, you know, where you are, like, are you moving to the next point, what's the next waypoint. You can just take closest to the car. It doesn't matter at what speed the car is going and how fast it gets past multiple waypoints as it like drives around here at 100 km an hour. It doesn't matter. At any point in time, at any iteration of the simulation, you can just get the closest waypoint and compare your position to that waypoint. Besides that, we also have the second element of this, which is essentially direction at that waypoint. So not only each waypoint has a particular location on the map, it also faces a certain way. It's got a yaw element to it. Because remember, any sort of location or transform object has two elements: location and rotation. Location is all x, y, z coordinates, and then rotation is pitch, yaw, and what's the other one? Roll. Yep. So three elements. It's like axis in this. Essentially, in the spaces, you can rotate, you can pitch and roll, and you can yaw. Yaw is when you face right and left and that kind of stuff. So that direction, the yaw element, allows you to very quickly compare the car actual direction and the direction of that waypoint close to it. So you can quickly calculate the difference between the angles of both and see, one, whether the car is close to that waypoint, and two, whether the direction of that waypoint is aligned to the car's direction. Hopefully it makes sense. So that's what we're trying to do. So the first way of us trying to, so we've run this first section, and we showed some examples how we can use sections of the road. We can create the whole collection of those road sections and then create routes between all of them. And by creating all of those routes, we essentially getting all waypoints set up, and we should be able to see them on the map as well. Okay, this is now finished. So it was running for nearly a minute, all of this code. This is what I was talking about. So when you run your reinforcement learning sessions or things like that, if you get this picture up front, then you can measure how the car is close to any one of the closest waypoints as you go through this town. What we've seen with this first option, there are unfortunately some gaps, and that's what I found unacceptable, because if the car is driving around there or here where there is the gaps, unfortunately you won't be able, you'll get different readings. So if you're here and the car is trying to get the closest waypoint, it will be way off. So you will be penalizing the car from driving perfectly straight in that lane, but unfortunately, because of this, because of the incorrect waypoint collection, you will not be able to measure this accurately. Okay, so we've seen gaps. So we need to find another option, and the other option is here. And by the way, let me just make it a bit bigger here. So the other thing that we can get from town map, and remember we got the town map variable at the very beginning. Town map, it's just, we just ran this get map method from the world, and that's how we got our map. So the next thing we can do is very simple command. So instead of doing all of those different routes, we can say, hey, generate waypoints. And what we can do here is also add a parameter that will set up the distance between those waypoints. In this case, we'll take, okay, let's say 0.3 meters, right? And what it will do, it will create all of those waypoints. And let's see if we can position them on the map and see where they are. The only thing that I want to clarify is there is this thing where I'm making them unique. And when you make waypoints unique, they don't have a simple number or something that you can just, you know, compare them being unique. You need to compare each waypoint and see how close they are on the location. And this is where I compare x's, like x coordinate and y coordinate. So if I'm saying essentially here, if they are within 0.1 of a meter of each other, it's the same waypoint. The other thing that I'm adding here, I'm also checking the yaw, because at an intersection there could be two crossing paths, and obviously they could be belonging to completely different routes through that intersection, and then they will have different yaw angles. And that's why I'm actually saying here, for two waypoints close to each other within like 10 centimeters here, they also need to be within 20 degrees of each other. And that's another parameter just to check for uniqueness. Why we're trying to make them unique, you ask? It's just to make the list of all waypoints that we need to calculate the current position of the car against as small as possible, so it will run faster. And in my examples, I could see that there's always some duplication coming up where, you know, essentially waypoints are too close to each other, so it wouldn't make any difference to have two of them or duplicates, complete duplicates. So therefore, that's the extra step that I do to make them unique. And then what I'll do now is essentially just when this finishes, everything again will be drawn on the map. And there is this little bit of code at the end where we just move the spectator to this position where you can just from one glance see the whole map, okay? And as we know, as you can see here, this takes about 4 minutes, and then through the magic of video editing, this will happen right now. And okay, now it's done. And as you can see, in those places or any other places, there is no more gaps. So this approach is obviously better because, well, first of all, and I've got the reasons here, it allows us to set custom distance between each waypoint. Like, for example, you can make them further away from each other if you need extra performance, and, you know, that because it will generate quite a long list, and that list needs to go through every time you're trying to calculate distance from between the car and the closest one. Then the second advantage, of course, we don't see any gaps, which is great, which means we've got the overall map coverage of ideal route the car should be taken. And then we also don't need to use any route planner, so the code is a lot faster and all that. Now, the next step we need to do is to check how we use it. So, okay, so now it disappeared. Let's just say if we could get closer to this a little bit. All right. So now what we'll do is there is this bit of code that essentially just creates a car. Well, the little trick here is that the car will be dropped from the location of the spectator, because you see, like, we get the initial position of a spectator. And then if we get closer to it, you know, that's what it is, okay? So luckily it landed on its feet eventually, or wheels, I should say, and we dropped the car. Now, let's see how long it takes. This code here is essentially trying to get through all of those unique waypoints that code above has created and compare it to the car. Then it will create the one with the shortest distance from the car, and will keep it in this variable called selected WP, okay? And then the other thing it will do here, it will draw that waypoint here on the map, so we should see where it is in relation to the car. Boom. All right, we see that this is the blue bit here you see kind of in the center of the car indicates where that waypoint that is closest to the car has been selected. So now the key thing that you'll actually be using in your code after obviously running all of this, and the remarkable thing, it takes very short time to actually go through, I think it's about 20,000 long list that it goes through every time, every waypoint, and it finds the shortest one. So it takes quite, it doesn't take any time at all. So unfortunately you have to run this through. Imagine, for example, when you train in reinforcement learning, so every single time step you need to do this calculation. And the great news, it doesn't take long, so we're not really sure how long it takes. I don't want to go deep into the Python nerdity and trying to figure out that code, or Google the code that measures exact time that this operation took. It doesn't really matter. I don't think it will actually slow our reinforcement learning that much. Anyway, let's just see, we calculate this. And you can see these numbers have been refreshed just now. So we are about 0.8 meters away from where we should be. So I think it's because, you know, the center of the car is around here. And then as you saw, that waypoint is there, right? So that distance between this waypoint where the blue dot is and the center of the car is about 88 centimeters according to this, okay? The other thing we can see is that the angle discrepancy is 123 degrees, because as let's just go back a little bit, 123 degrees. Oh, that is a bit strange. I think what we need to do is to change this to 360, because, you know, Carla can return values of angle differences way beyond 360. Now, what do we have now? Now it's 303. What does it mean? All right, so I think what it means is that, so the direction of the lane is kind of going this way, like from left to right. and the car is a lot to the left. So the angle that we've got here is actually, let me just illustrate what this angle suggested in this very instance. So I go red. So the angle that we've now measured is, this is our direction of the lane, okay? And this is our direction of the car. So the reason that we've got 303 degrees is that because unfortunately you just measured that angle, okay? And it would be good if it could subtract it from 360, which means it's a 50, well, nearly 60 degree angle, something like that, yeah, in reality. So it would be good to maybe change, when you use this, just watch out for this, just to make sure you get the right representation of that angle that you want. So you could reward, for example, in reinforcement learning accordingly. So, and by the way, this is your necessary data points to give rewards to the car in reinforcement learning, because what you're essentially trying to make sure that as the car is driving, it is as close to the waypoint, any waypoint, because we're not following maybe a particular navigation here, because we're just trying to make sure the car is driving in the center of the lane or it's going through intersections correctly. So those two numbers are the only things that you need to give rewards to make sure that happens, because you will be measuring precisely how far off the car is from where it should be at any point in time, to give it rewards for being closer to that waypoint and also being closer to the direction of that waypoint. And it's good that we found the example where we get this 303, because in this case they need to become 57 degrees negative very quickly, right? Because, you know, we should be rather getting this angle, which should be 57, right? Because 303 and 57 gives us 360. Does this look like 60 degrees? Yeah, I think it does, because this may look like 30 degrees. Yep, yeah, that makes sense. All right, that was all I wanted to talk about today, and hopefully you found this useful as usual. Like and subscribe. I love your comments, and I usually respond to ones where I can respond. So if I don't have an answer, I would rather not say anything, so my apologies for this, but I look forward to see you in the next videos, and keep simulating in Carla. It's great. Thanks, guys. Bye.